אוקיי.
היום 11.
היום 11 לחודש.
Good morning, this is Gabriel Raam. Today is the 11th of September 2010. Yes?
Yes, of course.
And I'm sitting here with Danny and I'm delivering an interpretation to number 37. It's recording, yes, for sure.
Yes.
Tao abides in non-action, yet nothing is left undone. If kings and lords observe this, then 10,000 things would develop naturally. If they still desired to act, they would return to the simplicity of formless substance. Without, for there is no desire. Without desire, there is. And this is the way all things would be, at peace. So he's returning here to an idea that we met several times, which we would say certain passivity of the Tao and passivity of the follower of the Tao in order to arrive at a place where the Tao really would happen. So
yes.
The path of non-action,
yes.
Leading to the heart of the matter, or leading to the Tao.
Yes.
So the first sentence is, Tao abides in non-action.
Mm-hmm.
So abides means live.
It corresponds maybe.
Corresponds. Abides is corresponds. As I understand, abides is certain living in.
Yes, accepting something maybe.
Abides is going in the way of, let's say. Okay. Tao going in the way of non-action.
Yes.
Right. So the way of the Tao is non-action.
Yes.
Which is interesting. He's talking about something which all the book is about, and he's saying that thing which we are about does not act. It has no action, no manifestation.
Yes.
If it's got no action, no manifestation, it just is.
Yes.
State of pure being. Yeah?
Yes.
Yet nothing is left undone. So here it complicates it.
Yes.
If we would say abides in non-action and nothing is done,
yes.
we can understand that. But he's saying it is a non-action which does things, and not only does things, it leaves nothing undone.
That's a big paradox.
That's a big paradox because there's two terms here, action and doing.
Yes.
And we perceive doing as a result of action.
Yes.
Action and doing is almost synonymous.
Okay.
You act, you do.
Yes.
You do, you act. And he is talking about something which is without action but is with doing.
Without doing and with action, maybe. Or
sorry?
The other way around, I think, is that you act but you don't do.
No. So what he's saying? He's saying you do, but you don't act.
Okay.
He's saying Tao abides in non-action.
Okay.
No action. But yet nothing is left undone. Everything is done in the end.
Okay. Now I understand it.
So when he's saying undone, he's saying things get to where they should get to.
Yes.
They get completed.
Yes.
Everything is okay. Yet there is no action. So we should imagine a world, or perceive a world, where there is no force,
mm-hmm.
no power, no movement, because we attribute these things to action.
Yes.
Yet everything is being done. So you should ask yourself how things are done if nothing is acting.
Yes.
So he's leaving that, and then he's going to talk about us mortals.
Yes.
Not the Tao, but us mortals. If kings and lords observe this, then 10,000 things would develop naturally. So he is now giving us another term, development.
Yes.
He's saying doing things without action is actually the remedy for development.
Okay.
So he is talking not about executing things, and not about, I need to go to the barber at 10 o'clock and to the grocery at 11.
Yes.
But he's saying the doing that I'm talking about is development.
Okay, so the context is development.
No, development is not the context. He's saying, he's actually putting a prefix to the doing.
Okay.
He's saying, what kind of doing am I talking about?
Okay.
A development doing.
Okay.
And who is responsible for development? Who can do development? Those human beings that we call kings and lords. So not everyone should deal with development, but only the highest level of human beings.
Yes.
So he's talking about noble men and women that should deal with development of what we don't know, but they should do it in the way of the Tao, which is a way of non-action. So I'll read that again. Tao abides in non-action, yet nothing is left undone. If kings and lords observe this, then 10,000 things will develop naturally.
Yes.
Not only develop, but develop naturally. So he's saying things develop here on the planet naturally without action.
Okay.
Now it's clear that when we talk about human beings, whether we develop or don't develop, that's a question of semantics, what we call development.
Yes.
But it's clear one thing, there's a lot of action here.
Yes.
Which means we're not going in the way of the Tao.
Yes.
If they still desire to act, he's talking about the kings and lords. Until now he's saying how things should be. I'm saying, let's observe and see what will happen if you don't observe this. And you insist to develop or do things by action. If they still desire to act, what is more important here is not saying if they still act, if they still desire to act. So now he's putting another term in. He's saying, it's not only that I object action, I object even the desire to act. So until you root out your desire to be active, you're not in the way of the Tao. Things will not develop naturally.
So he's saying, if you observe this and still want, then
then things will not develop.
Okay.
But you say want, he's talking about desire. Desire is something more powerful than want. If they still desire to act, what will happen to them? What happens to the person who should be busy in development naturally, but still nourishing within himself the desire to act? They would return to the simplicity of formless substance. So, formless substance is the material from which things develop.
Yes. Before God created the
chaos.
Chaos.
So he's talking about chaos. So he's saying, if people nourish within themselves the desire to act, they will return back to the situation of chaos.
Yes.
So he's putting here development from one end and chaos from the other end.
Yes.
Doing without action brings development. Desire for act brings returning to chaos.
Yes.
What kind of chaos is he talking about? Well, we can presume he's talking about all kind of chaos. Chaos of human relationship, where each one wants to overpower another human being. and to stab him in the back. Chaos between parents and kids, where the kids do not respect their parents and they want to cut away from them and they want to use them, and the parents are under the kids, not above them in priority.
Yes.
Between couples, there is a chaos in the family, not real love, not real respect, not real values.
Yes.
Education, there is a chaos between students and teachers, not real inborn hierarchy.
Yes.
And between nations, there's cold tension
And war, sometimes.
Economy is building on the oppression of the unprivileged and the third world countries, and the manipulation of them, and most of the money is with the few really rich people that manipulate the world against it. So all this is chaotic, and according to what he is saying, it is happening because we still nourish within ourselves the desire to act, and we do not allow things to take their natural course. So he's saying, if you will leave the desire to act, things will find their way to develop and will move you away from the state of chaos.
So if I understand you correct, the man on this planet is a showstopper for development of human.
So you're saying man, he's actually saying, he's talking to the people who lead.
Yes.
And if the people who lead desire to act, obviously the people under them have got no power to do anything. Okay, let's continue. They will return to the simplicity. Obviously it's not a very good simplicity.
Yes.
Simplicity of formless substance.
I must say it sounds romantic. Simplicity of formless substance. It sounds good.
It sounds good, but it's not good, because
Okay.
I need to say that formless substance is a chaos, and I want to remind you and the viewers that cancer is a formless substance.
Yes.
And it's not developing, but it's actually acting.
Yes.
And one of the ways to differentiate lower form of life from a higher form of life, that a higher form of life has got an inner organization more complex and more ordered than the lower form of life.
Yes.
The lowest form of life is amoeba. How do you say it in English?
Amoeba.
Amoeba.
Yes.
Or a cell,
Yes.
which is a lump of stuff,
Yes.
basically, with no formed boundaries and with no inner structure.
Yes.
Now also you can look at the embryo.
Yes.
It starts being formless substance,
Yes.
and the more it develops, the more formed it gets inside and outside.
Yes.
And the same with death.
Yes.
When we are alive, we are formed with defined boundaries. When we die, then our boundaries become shapeless,
Yes.
and our inside becomes inside out and shapeless.
Yes.
The same with becoming crazy. When you become crazy, actually the boundaries between you and reality
Yes.
fall down, and your inner structure of sanity, of values, of principles
Yes.
get corrupted and smashed. So they will return to this simplicity of formless substance. Without, for there is no desire. Without desire, there is. So when he's saying without, what does he mean? Without.
That's the most enigmatic sentence in the verse.
I see two things here. Development could be the missing word.
Yes.
Or the Tao. So you can say without the Tao, there is no desire. Without development, there is no desire. So he is putting desire together with chaos
Yes.
and formless substance.
Yes.
And development and Tao at the other end.
Yes.
Inner organization, development and Tao, desire, action, formless substance.
Yes.
Two different departments. Without the Tao development, there is no desire. Or you can make the sentence opposite. Without desire, there is no Tao. Sorry, without desire, there will be a development and the Tao.
Maybe it is sort of like an equation, and you can actually put anything inside this formula, and maybe it's something that is more general and it speaks about everything without, and he's talking about the without, doesn't matter what you put inside there can't be existence. And
No. He's talking about something which is the opposite of desire.
Okay.
What opposite desire in this writing
Yes.
is development and the Tao.
Okay.
Now, it's interesting for me that he's starting to talk about action, then he puts in desire, then he continues to talk about desire, and he doesn't talk about action anymore.
Yes.
And now, he's saying the mother of all sins is desire.
Yes.
Because desire brings action.
Yes.
Before he talked about doing an action,
Yes.
now he's saying, if you have no desire, then you will have no action.
Yes.
So he's talking about coming to a state of wishing for nothing,
Yes.
having no desire for nothing. For us, it will mean that we're becoming a zombie,
Yes.
becoming a formless substance.
Yes.
And he's saying, no, you become a formless substance if you desire.
Yes.
If you will kill your desire, you will develop. And this is something which is imperceptible to us. For us, development is a result of a consistent desire and an action. If you ask a millionaire,
Yes.
what caused him to be a millionaire? He said, I had a very strong desire to become a millionaire when I was 31, and I worked like crazy all the time for that.
Yes.
And he's saying the opposite. He's saying, you want to develop? Have no desire. Why? Because development is not what you do. Development is what happens to you when you stop doing.
Okay. That's
Because what you can do can bring nothing which is natural, nothing which is higher.
yes.
Doing is on the level of mechanical existence.
Yes.
But we develop to the higher levels.
Yes.
Anything higher than you happens without you. You are limited
Yes.
to your level. And your level could be reached by action.
Yes.
If you want to reach higher levels, you should cease action. Then you say, okay, if I cease action, what would happen? For that you need to put your trust in something higher than you.
Yes.
But if something higher than you will sense that you stop interfering, and
Yes.
for it action is interfering, then it will adopt you and will do
Mhm.
development. Because you see, we couldn't develop an embryo to a baby. Nature forces does that.
Yes.
So the father and the mother do nothing. And
Mhm.
it develops. So the greatest poison and arrestor of human beings is the desire to act.
I understand.
And this is stopping us from developing naturally to the state of Tao. And I will read the last sentence. Without development, there is no desire. Without desire, there is.
Yes.
And in this way, all things will be at peace.
Yes.
So he's saying, if you manage to quieten the desire in you to act and bring the mechanical action to zero, something will adopt you and will develop natural forces in you to a higher level.
Yes.
And if you do, you will find peace.
It's crystal clear right now, and
Saying in this way, all things will find peace.
not only you. Okay.
So by you managing to move away from the addiction to desire,
Mhm.
you'll actually bring peace to everything.
Yes. So the thing is, in this verse, is the desire is the more there is desire, the more there is action. The more there is action, the less there is development.
But the more there is action, then the more you are deteriorating to the chaos of formless substance.
Yes, not only there is no development, but there is maybe disintegration, maybe.
That's right. And it's clear that we live now in the state of disintegration because
Yes.
we are too addicted to a desired action.
That's a very hard verse, hard truth.
And this is what the Tao is based in. Being able to move away from the addiction to the desire to
Yes.
act and to allow things to take you over in order to find real peace. This is what the Tao is about.
If I think about Darwinism and the evolution of man, that until a certain point nature evolved, really evolved, and then man became conscious and started acting, and from this point he stopped acting naturally and started disintegrating himself.
It's very complex what you're bringing up, and it's opening all kind of issues, all kind of questions about Darwinism. And
Okay.
in Darwinism we don't have natural development, we have a lot of mutations.
Yes.
And development and mutation is not something that goes together.
Okay.
And it's a whole new issue.
Okay.
So I will read it again. Tao abides in non-action, yet nothing is left undone. If kings and lords observe this, then 10,000 things would develop naturally. If they still desire to act, they would return to the simplicity of formless substance. Without, for there is no desire. Without desire, there is. And in this way, all things will be at